2, 1. Action!
Alright, welcome back to One United, and today we have with us Kira and Mo. Welcome.
Yo.
What's up?
What's up, guys?
Right. Okay, so for today we're gonna talk about the team's performance, performance review monthly before the month of September. As you all know, the season just kicked off in September. We have played 5 matches, cups and also Premier League matches. With the total result is 2 wins and 3 losses. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? But the 3 wins, 3 wins with 2 losses. Whereby there's 2 out of the 3 wins, 2 wins are from the Carabao Cup matches, technically against a lesser team. And the only win we had last month was against Brighton, whereby we were saved with a last-minute penalty. So, Kira, start it off with you. How would you feel about the team's performance last month?
Thank you for the opportunity to talk here right now, and to our viewers. Yeah, I think we all have the same feeling right now. It's not really great. It's not looking very good for our team at the moment. And looking forward, even with the addition that we have post the closure of the transfer window, I'm not sure how to actually see whether are we actually improving our team, or are we just putting stopgaps to all those loopholes that we have in our team. So yeah, it's not looking great. In fact, there has been few news about our team's squabbles behind closed doors, up to the point that there is a statement saying that Sir Alex is going to join in the dressing room for our next match. So hopefully that will be something to help propel our team going forward.
Right. Good insight. What about Mo? Have some words on the team's performance last month?
Okay, I think before I start with the talking about the team, it's an interesting point that Kira brought up about the dressing room distress, right? There's a lot of talks about, even in my own video, I said Bruno Fernandes has been reportedly having some disagreement or losing faith in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So there's a statement by Fernandes today, and then during the international press conference, which is very interesting. I think I'm gonna share it with the viewers in case they haven't known yet. So what he said is that there's been a lot of speculation about that. First, it was a discussion with the teammates. As it did not stick, it was a discussion with only one partner. He referring to Lindelof. As it did not stick now, it is a discussion with Solskjaer. I believe it is a way to destabilize the group. What was said in no way is true. So I think he's saying about talking about media is trying to create the unstable environment within United. And he continued, I was replaced at halftime against Spurs. It is true, by technical option. The coach told me that the game was almost over during 4-1 and that we would have a lot of games ahead of us. Got it. I was not satisfied but said nothing that could harm the group. At the end of the game, the coach sent me a message to wish the team good luck and if I wanted to give a word of support to the team. We spoke at the end by message and I just have to be grateful to the coach who bet on me. His tactics are perfect for me, he stressed. Do not use, this is the most interesting word, his closing word. Do not use my name, my colleagues or the coach to make trouble at Manchester United because the atmosphere is good and the team is ready to give an answer in the next game. Okay, let's hope he is true on that one, in the sense that the team is ready to give answer next game, right? Okay, but answering your question, I think a lot of the downfall in our poor performance in December in the league, especially where we only won 1, lost twice, be humiliated by Spurs at home, lucky wins against Brighton there. I think the big factor is lack of preseason. I think you can clearly see the lack of physical match sharpness, and of all the games throughout the 3 games, we are really being dominated physically, outplayed in terms of physical wise. So I think because of that, I think Ole has to take some blame for that. Yes, it is a factor, not having preseason, not having your players in the top condition, in top physical condition, the top match condition. But I think that's where manager earn their money, right? They have to find a way to mitigate that problem, whether it's in terms of tactic, whether in terms of motivation or inspiration. I think he has to done. I didn't see do that throughout the September and October month, right? Is kind of like going through the motions, and he was being really, reactive and not proactive. So I think he has to take some blame of that, and rightly so. And I think that's why the media has started, the agenda of Ole out. Pochettino has voiced about what news has become really stronger by the day. But for now, I think Ole deserves a chance. You have to remember, this is only his second loss. Yeah, his second loss in the league since post lockdown, right? We are unbeaten in the league since lockdown, right? So if you can continue by that, this is only his second loss throughout the great run that he has. So, and it's only the third game of the season in the league, so I think it's quite early to judge. But this month lah is a truly test for Oli, because I think, like we all know, it's a really tough month. You're gonna have Newcastle next, then we are gonna have PSG, then Chelsea, Leipzig, and then Arsenal. So it's gonna be really tough. But if Oli can navigate through all of this fixture with really positive mood, positive result, and position, then I think he will. I think he can turn this season around.
Right. Thank you, Mo. So basically, we should tend to agree with the fans that September was a disastrous month. The poor performance throughout the month. But then again, as Mo said, this is just the start of the season, and even Oli's track record breaking down since the restart project, this is only the second loss. So in terms of Oli's capacity or the competency as the manager itself, it should be truly tested this month. How do you think he will fare this month, and should he stay for the season? Kira.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So actually, I was reminiscing back during the time when there was a very young unknown coach who took out the job at Manchester United, and he set up a target for himself, for the team, in fact, to not be pulled off the perch. And I think everyone who knows Manchester United knows what I'm talking about. Of course, it's our great legend, Sir Alex. And when we look back at his track record when he first took over United, he wasn't even in top 10, and he made it his his vision, United not only within the top 10 but number 1 in the Premier League back then. So I have to say that actually, the way it is being done was very systematic, and I don't mind losing. Actually, if going forward we have a vision, we have a mission that we will be able to carry on. And recently we have heard news of us being forward with trying to look for a director of football. And I believe that if this is true, then I rather have Ole stay, even though we are not really performing well, not only within the next 10 games, but within this season itself, because then it will allow that director of football to have a very constant coach that he can work with, that he can build around, not only in terms of the players but in terms of the coach itself, so that we can have a more comprehensive team going forward. So yeah, the next match, those next matches are not really going to affect much of my faith in Ole, but rather in faith in the team itself, because again, as much as I agree with Mo on the statement that Ole is partially faulty for what has happened for this month itself, but I think it is also the time that that we have to give Ole, because the purchases that he has made mostly throughout this window itself are mostly youth, that I believe that he is planning to introduce to the main team within the next few seasons. So if Ole goes now, that plan will go, and all those youth that we buy at this time will also go.
Agreed.
So he needs a friend, and if Woodward really cares about his own image, particularly. He'll get the director of football. He'll maintain Ole, and he'll say that okay, this season results are still number one, but most of all, building is key.
Right. Kira, good point. And then Kira inevitably mentioned about the signings or that. So, basically, when September ends, it also signals that the
Wake
close
you
of transfer windows.
When September ends,
So
we have to wake you up.
Yeah. Sorry.
When September ends, we have to wake you up.
We're currently in tragedy October now, so God wish we come back stronger. Nonetheless, 5th October the official window closes, transfer window closes, and by the end of this international break, it's also signaled the EFL transfer window closes. So, Mo, we'd like to ask you on the edition that we had, especially on the deadline day, how it will help the team, and do you see this is sufficient enough to take us further? No mention of that JS filler.
Heartbreak, man. Okay, basically, I think you know how I feel about transfer window, right? It's a total disaster, right? Absolutely looking at like we don't have any plans. Even most of our signings was made, 2 or 3 days, or even on the deadline day, apart from Van der Beek. But having said that, if I look at it in a positive way, we have to look at each individual player and what quality they bring. Do they help the team? Okay, let's go with overall. You have to say that the player that has been brought in definitely does add something to the team. Like someone like Teles definitely will add a new attacking dimension on the left back. Now we can even play back five very, very effectively because we have Teles and his crossing ability. And then we know Cavani. I don't think anyone can doubt what a top class goal scorer he is. Right, he still is. I know with his age, but I think he can still do a job. And he's not here to be a first choice anyway, because I think Martial will still be the first choice. So having some that quality to be a backup and someone to push Martial to perform better, because if he doesn't perform, Cavani comes in, and also give us the flexibility of having different type of players, and Oli can mix and match according to the situation and the opponents, and we can use different tactics now. And definitely, I'm very excited to see the two youngsters, Palestri and Diallo, especially Diallo. But Palestri looks promising, and I'm not sure he's going to be involved in this weekend match this squad. But hopefully another unknown teenager that we bought can have the same impact with the previous unknown teenager that we bought. I think you guys know who I'm talking about. But definitely, bottom line is, I think they all add something to the team. Definitely add something to the team.
Yeah. Yes. You mentioned on the next game upcoming. So basically, before we move on to that topic, for the past five games we played, maybe we can took out the Carabao Cup game, especially on the league game, the 3 games we played, 2 losses and one win. Yep. So it's easily, the fans are easily pointing out the some sort of scapegoat or the weakest link in the players. So far, it doesn't spell it doesn't spell good on our captain Harry Maguire. Nonetheless, not just him, perhaps even De Gea itself. You never know with the numbers of goals conceded or not, and the control of the penalty area. So, what are your thoughts? Should either of these should be dropped for the next game, or should we still put faith on these players? Bearing in mind that these 2 players are not even showing good performance in their recent international matches.
Who should take that question for? Me first or okay, since I'm talking, I'm just
gonna answer. Rock, paper, scissors. One answer first.
Okay, since I'm let me just start. So I think if you can see in my Sembang MU segment video talking about the formation that we should use against Newcastle, right? I did propose we use Maguire during the time because there's a hint that Bailly might be injured, right? And because I don't think we have anyone else that is as good as Maguire aerially, that's why I still stay Maguire should start. But looking at his condition, especially during the international, it really seems that his head is not really in the game. I think whatever that happens during preseason, whatever happened in Greece, really affected him, and he started season poorly. I think not just him, to be fair, the whole team started season poorly. But he become the captain and he become the the defensive linchpin and he make few mistakes. So I think it's been magnified even more. So I think to protect him, I think Ole should drop him, not the word drop, but rest him, to protect him or to give him some time to clear his head out, right? And then since we have all of our center backs fit, we have Lindelof, we have Bailly, we have Tuanzebe, we have even Fosu Mensah can play there. So I think it might be a good idea to drop Maguire, to rest Maguire against Newcastle, provided if we play back three, because I'm not confident if we play back two in any combination that we have right now. If we play back two, I would be really worried. So, but if we play back three, I think we have that leeway into dropping Maguire and still be able to to be solid and compact in that midfield. And of course, the captaincy, once he's been dropped, has to be given somewhere else now. At this part, I still would give it to De Gea.
Right. Okay. So as for me, I think if you can see, De Gea has got the captainship before. He did became captain a few times, and people still blaming him for not being for the penalty box. And they were saying that you need to give it to someone who's assertive in the team. And we thought Maguire could be that one, but he has not shown his aggressiveness so far. So there has been a lot of backlash by the fans themselves against these kind of performances. You got to remember that we have been on the top for so long that whenever these kind of things happen, we take it as an embarrassment. But it's actually the other way around. When this kind of things happen, it hurts, and it's not really hurting us as the fans. It's mostly people on the pitch themselves. They are the ones who need to perform for us. So the pressure on Maguire is quite high, and I agree that he should be rested, or at the very least, be allowed to sit on the sides to actually let him see from another point of view how he should captain the team. Because just to let him get a sense of what is actually wrong throughout the team, because at least when he's out of the game, he can actually see the picture clearer. There has been a lot of I would say dissatisfaction against him, and I believe that there was also some certain sections of the fans were asking for his captainship to totally be stripped off. But then again, the question remains that who can be the next captain. And in this case, actually, while I partially agree that De Gea should be given it, I would really say that the next best candidate is actually Paul Pogba. And I know this is controversial. A lot of our own fans are against Pogba.
We know you love controversies.
And yet when we see him in the international playing international, he was quite good. He doesn't feel so pressured by his own teammates. And yes, you can say that he has a lot of protection around him, but yet he's a world-class player and he doesn't really need that protection if he is given the support, which is a lot more critical than protection. So again, I would say that if you give Pogba that captainship, perhaps he could rally the team around him, and they in turn will not be because it also reflects what Romelu Lukaku has mentioned in a few articles. I think a few weeks back, when he said that there seems to be certain factions within the dressing room, and apparently one of these factions were controlled by Pogba. Not really sure, but that statement, I mean, it was a really general statement given by Lukaku at the time. But if that is the case, if you give one mandate to either one of these faction rulers for so-called, and perhaps that could actually rally the team up. Maybe it will dissatisfy the other faction, but at the very least we could get a more coherent gameplay across the board. So I would say that against Newcastle, we should we should rest Maguire or let Maguire sit with Ole on the side and see the game on the side for him to get in the game mentally. And yes, I agree that we should play a back three, 3-4-3 formation. And I think the captainship should go to Pogba and see him back in that leadership role that he has held in France previously. Yep.
Right, two things really interesting. Talking about Paul Maguire situation. First, the recent off form performance, and then it will lead to the talks of captainship armband to be passed to other parties. So there have been talks also that some section of the fans are pushing for Fernandes to be given the captainship. Second would be the one interesting comment from a fan from the social media was suggested during this intentional break, whereby a different partnership altogether in the back four, whereby drop Maguire altogether and surprise candidate will be McTominay, like who plays there in the Scotland game. So any thoughts? You guys can pick because you can answer. First, the captainship to Fernandes. Second, on McTominay as the centre back pairing with other centre backs we have.
In a back four, definitely no. It's a no. Like I said, even we have a plethora of centre back for choices, right? So I don't think McTominay should be playing in a centre back. But unless we play in the back three and we want more range of passing from deep, then I think he can start at the right centre back. It makes sense, tactical. Depends on the situation of the game. Maybe not from the start, but maybe when we are catching up or we are in behind, we need to take more risk. That might be a viable option, but definitely not starting a centre back in a back four. Definitely, I don't agree with that. What do you think, Kira?
Okay, I think there was two questions from Zoro's question from Zoro just now. But Bruno as captain, more. Maybe you can answer on
Oh
that
yeah,
one first.
sorry, forgot about that. I think we talked about this before in our video. I think he does have that captain personality and the leadership, but like you said, it's best for him to really focus on attacking since he played number 10 role. So I think it would best not to give him that extra burden. Just let him focus because he is a leader anyway. With the armband or without the armband, right? And I like what you say about Pogba. I know it's a bit controversial, but I've seen a video of him, rallying the troops, rallying his French teammate during the World Cup fight. I think the World Cup semi-final, right? The way he rallies does really show that he's just a natural leader and he's someone that the dressing room look up to as well. So I think giving him that armband is not that bad of a thing. It might even make him more responsible. But and he plays deeper anyway, so he might just that he only need to see how tactically to sort of mitigate his weakness where he likes to hold the ball too much, right? Or a bit longer time. That's why he keep being pressed. But if you play in back three and then if you play with a back three, I think he can play better and overall become a captain.
Yep. Okay, alright. So as for me, okay, the first question is about Bruno's captain. I totally disagree with it because to become a Manchester United captain, you have to have that Manchester United caliber. And yes, Bruno has that caliber, but he has just been with team less than a year, and giving him the captainship is just going to, make other players dissatisfied because he has shown good performances, he should be captain. No, it is a merit, and it is actually the thing as a coach. I mean, as a coach, you have to really press on what the captain does, and he's not there to actually talk about other players, how you should play or what you should do. He's just there to rally, and that's why I believe Pogba is a better choice. Or at the very least, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, McTominay did captain our under 23 before, and he has that. He has been with us since our youth team. So why not? Why not? It is to show to McTominay that you have been with United ever since you were young. We are now giving you that leadership because we want you to lead Manchester United how you have been with us since you were a kid. So he will accept that role very happily, and he will understand the gravity of that role.
That's even more controversial than
yeah.
suggesting Pogba, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's controversial, but actually for me, it's the same as some people last time have said. Why make Henderson the captain? You know, that kind of thing. But okay, let's not talk about the other club, the other club from that side. Okay, and then yeah, McTominay as a central defender, I think we should not make him a cover, because for one thing, McTominay is not really that good in the air. But the good thing about McTominay is that his his tenacity. So it is better to make him a foil in the back three in such a way that he will play as the one that he will do the marking, the close marking, and chasing of the false lines or the fast forwards, and that will allow our two centre backs to actually focus on keeping still and blocking the ball. This would actually be better because Maguire and Lindelof are not really that fast fast runners, so we won't want them to focus on positioning, either Lindelof or Bailly or Tuanzebe or so many centre halves that we have, to actually focus on defending, on blocking, on getting close, but not to actually press. And that should be given to someone who has that tenacity. At the moment, it's either Watamini or Fred who should be doing it. But I also recently heard that Fred should not be playing so deep as well, because some people are saying that back in his Shakhtar Donetsk day, he's actually playing a much more forward position, and we are not utilizing him in a great way as well.
Look, I have a
Alright.
question for Zoro. Right? Let's hear what he says. What do you think about Martial's performance so far during this month, this September, October? Do you think he can still lead the line? Do you think he still deserves to lead the line, or is it the whole team is playing badly and affected the obviously centre forward be suffer the most when the team play badly? What do you think?
Okay, well, statistically, I may not recall it, but statistically, he does not score yet this season. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep, yet to score.
So far, the games we've seen him play, personally, I feel he sometimes was drifted out from the game. Got no have no input, no input to the forward line as of yet, and his gameplay does not manage to bring out others as usual as he would have been doing last from the end of the last season. The goals that we have also, perhaps there are certain moves that cause that leads to the goal, but then again he does not produce the end product. For the time being, yes, he's quite off his game. I believe for the time being he's not well suited, and what he did in the game against what was the last game?
Spurs.
The Spurs, yeah. What he did against the Spurs was definitely stupid. But then again, it was provoked. We still don't have an idea why that Lamela doesn't get carded, doesn't get one even for what he did in the game. It was clear on the video. Probably for the time being, the red card suspension, 3 games should help Martial off and should have Martial off the pitch and help him to regain his focus, fitness, and perhaps we might have seen him come back stronger. In addition, that we have Cavani on board. Perhaps during those times he's not playing, they can then something off each other and then be beneficial to the team. Yeah, even though Cavani himself is under quarantine right now. So I believe those two will push each other to the limit this season. And at most, I would like to see Martial finally to shine and shows his true potential despite his early letdown for the season.
Martial. I would say that out of the 3 games that we have watched him play, I would rate him 5 out of 10. He has not been really good, but the thing is, the game against Spurs, he was about to find his rhythm, and in the heat of the game, and I would say that there was a an elbow by Lamela on him, that was really just a simple Jedi mind trick from Mourinho, typical mind game from Mourinho's side.
You will get a red card. You will get a red card.
So it was very unfortunate that at that time he was in the mood. You can see that he was in the mood, and that's why when he got provoked that way, he retaliated because he was in the mood. He knows that he can get something out of the game, and when that red card came in, you can see how disappointed he was.
Red card kan, he did get something out of the game.
Yeah,
which is go out of the game.
Which is bad. Yeah, which was very bad. But the thing about Martial is, he has been in United, I think for the past 5 years, if I'm thinking 5 or 4 years, and his game has not evolved much. That's the thing that I'm worried, because when you see that in cases whereby you are not being effective in the game, you have to change the way you play in order to get the best out of 90 minutes on the pitch. And I would say that against Spurs, the first few minutes that he was playing, he had found a way to actually be in the game. When he decided, I'm not sure whether it was always decision or it was a playmaking thing between Rashford and him, in order to switch up to allow Rashford to go to the middle and he'll go onto the left. And that's why he actually found his rhythm. But the thing is, actually, as a Manchester United player, from what I understand, you should not be told by the coach that you have to switch out in order to get the best out of the game. If you find out that you are not being useful to the team, when you are in that position, you are unable to help the team, you are unable to hold the ball and whatnot, you should tell your teammates, alright, I'm going to go to this side and try to help you guys pull the defenders away, and you guys score the game. You guys score the goals. That should be it. He should make that decision himself, and not rely on anyone else to tell him that. He's been with Manchester United for so many years already, and we have expected that kind of maturity. So again, I'm not trying to pin the blame, or I'm not trying to say, our players are not good enough. What I see is a lack of leadership across the board, across the field. Each one of these players could have done something better in order to improve throughout the game, because they are the ones who are on the pitch, and Oli can only so far tell them before the game, okay, this is the best position I see that fits the position's method of playing. But if there is ever a counter play by the opposition, you are on the pitch and you should solve that problem yourself. I did not see that, but perhaps it's what like what Mo said just now. Maybe it is due to match fitness and inability to focus because of lack of pre-season matches. That's why they were unable to actually get into the game. I'm not sure, but hopefully we can see Ole overcome this and overcome the mindset of people saying that he is only a physical education coach, in the sense that he's just telling those players to get some exercise and go whatever you want to do on the pitch. No, he should be able to evolve mentally as well. And yeah, it's a learning curve for everyone. So hopefully we all learn from this very, very, not only disappointing but very interesting, very hurtful experience going forward.
Yep. Let's read some comments. Jerot Pelam here, he said, drop Maguire. Enough said. Our defense really messed up right now.
Great, yeah. Jerot Pelam has the same opinion as us. Yeah, we were talking about this just now. So yeah, interesting point. Looking forward to the next game. As most previous video, most did propose or even suggested a 3-4-3 3-4-3 formation, or was it 3-5-2? I kind of forgot. More
3-4,
formation.
3-4-1-2.
3-4-1-2. All right.
Yeah.
The unavailability of several players, the form of players, and looking at how Newcastle play. Newcastle usually play with 5 defenders.
Yep.
5-4-1. So they're technically the main starter. Or for this season, actually, there are several times they're playing 4-4-2 with the addition of Callum Wilson and Ryan Fraser that helps their line to score some. But normally they will be playing 5-4-1. So do we have the capability to overcome this formation? And what are your thoughts and your a brief prediction of this game? Can we win this? What's the score and who's gonna be the scorer?
Very specific prediction you asked. Okay, before that, to the viewers, if you have any comments or you want to join us on the voice chat, you can put your comments or your thoughts on the comment section, and you can join the Discord voice chat. We have the link there. And to answer your question, during my my video talking about the formation, right, I suggested we go for back three. I'm not talking just on the Newcastle game, but of course throughout the month of October, just so we can be a bit more, get more stability into the team and to the spine of the team due to the bad performance that we have and the uncertainty that we have right now. But definitely, if you want to talk specific about Newcastle, you said yourself they played with a back five with a wing back, right? So that's why it's makes sense for us to go with a back three and a wing back as well, so that we can push the wing back, you know. We can push it. And now that since we have like I said, Teles, hopefully he can start there. Maybe it's a bit of a risk to start him, but because we play with back five, I think it's okay to start him because there's a cover there if he sort of short defensively, because we need the his attacking input in terms of the crosses, because I think that's where we're lacking at the moment, in terms of crosses to the center forward, because we are really not a crossing team right now, right? It's totally different from what we used to during the Sir Alex Ferguson era, where we have fantastic crosses of the ball. I can see all of our forwards and midfielder are really fantastic crosses of the ball. But right now, I think our players do have the ability. You talk about Pogba, Fernandes, Rashford, Marcel, they are all good passer and good crosses, but maybe the tactics that doesn't dictate them to do that. But I think against low block team, especially, they should try doing that, especially from the fullback, right? But they say Wan-Bissaka and Shaw is not that good in attacking sense, so that's why it's good to have Teles. And like you said, for Newcastle, if we can match them physically and in terms of intensity, I'm definitely pretty sure the quality that we have, man for man, is better than Newcastle, definitely, right? So but here's a big if we can match them physically, which we unable to do for the last 3 matches in the league, I think we will win, and we might win. It's not going to be comfortable because Newcastle away is very hard. We might win 1-0 or 2-1, right? I wouldn't put any bet on any scorer, but like I said, if we manage to compete with them physically, if we don't, we might see another hair pulling session from all the fans lah.
Right. Okay. So as for me, the way I look at it, Ollie has to make up his mind. There are 2 things when you approach a problem, that you have to stick to your game plan, but at the same time you must be able to also adapt to that problem in order to ensure that you get the best out of all the chess pieces you have. So what I'm trying to say here is that if Ole is going to play with the current formation of I would say 4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1. Yep. For me it's the same, honestly. If he wants to play that way, then he has to make it a template to play that way. But he in order to ensure that you stick with the game plan, that's the first thing. And second thing is that when you have to have a mantra, a certain mental fortitude, because there was a saying by Johan Cruyff saying that it's not hard to win a football match. If the opposition scores goals against me, I just need to score one more goal. And that, I think at the moment, that's the not to say that approach, but you have to give that kamikaze feeling to the place, that you do not see each single goal as a failure, but as an opportunity to say that okay, fine, it's just that we have to score another goal, we have to score another goal, we have to score another goal, and instead of being panicked, instead of trying very hard to win back the ball in our own area and ended up making much more of a mess. No, you have to stick to the game plan, and at the same time, you have to be able to adapt to the opposition in order to get more goals. So I would say that okay, Ole, if I am able to talk to him right now, I would say that Ole, if you want to play with a 4-3-3 formation, go ahead. Just make sure that whatever comes ahead, you do not get your players panic. That's it. That's the first thing. As a Manchester United team, being panicked by a Brighton approach is something that is so weird, and yet it happened. So yeah. The formation can go 4-2-3, or if you really wanna go for a very hybrid kind of formation, you can go for 3-4-3 or even 3-5-2. Because seeing as how we are not unable to have a very central striker, you can go ahead with just two up in front, and you can play with 3 midfielders in the center. Because there was an idea saying that Bruno can play on the left. I mean, straightly on the center left of the midfield. Pogba can play on the right pivot of the midfield, I would say, and you can play Donny in middle, and on the sides you have wing backs, and worst come to worst, you can have Matic as the third centre back if you want to play around. But again, the Ole, you got to make sure that don't feel panic if you concede 1 goal. Just need to know that you need to score more goals than them, and make sure that if you get pushed back, just relax, get the ball slowly, and if you keep on to your own formation, you will definitely get back the ball. You don't even have to run around to get the ball. So looking at the current performance of our team, I think the performance the belief in our team is quite low from the fans' perspective. So of course our prediction is going to be quite low, maybe just 1-0 or a very close 1-0, maybe 89 minute winner, or it could be a draw. And as for the scorer, well, it's left to be desired, because so far our front three has not really got into the scoring mode, except for that Rashford goal, which I think was the top of the cream. Other than that, I think we are not really playing as Manchester United, so no. I agree with Model. I don't care who scores. Just make it so that when you score, don't get panic. Celebrate that goal and just keep on going. Forget about that 6-1 loss in terms of how bad it was, but take it as a lesson learned.
Good talk. Well, lesson learned. We see that even Barcelona, after beaten 8-2 in the European Champions League, they've come back stronger this season. Apart from their internal crisis, they are currently doing well. So I hope the United team, can also emulate what Barcelona did and come back stronger during this international break. For my thought, personally, I would like to see a win. I don't care how it's done. It's a scrappy penalty, be it just a win should be enough. Because it helps to boost the team's confidence for next game later on, especially looking into this month's schedule. We have very, very tight games coming up around the corner. After Newcastle, we have PSG. PSG also are flying in the French league currently. So let's hope that this particular pandemic does not affect our players even more. Even though around the world, even though our great legend CR7 also have been tested positive earlier, let's hope those kind of news does not affect our team as well.
It's funny that you mentioned PSG and then you mentioned the pandemic doesn't affect, because I got new news today, now today. Apparently, Herrera, Verratti, Cahill, Icardi, Draxler, Marquinhos, and Pereira might all be missing in the next week's game against United, because of the COVID.
Basically,
Yeah.
PSG, what they are wishing currently, they do not want Neymar to miss the game. Remember what happened when Neymar missed the game last time?
Yep. So basically,
So
almost
they
16
just
player
that's
might
what
miss the
happened.
game.
I mean, it's not good to wish others bad, but then again, we do love our team. We wish them well as well. Right. Basically, let's talk about the Premier League. 3 games down the road, we have very interesting. Looking at the standings currently, who would have thought? Everton and even Aston Villa will be on the top 10, even on top half of the table. And our team is currently nearing to the relegation spot rather than the championship itself. So, what are your thoughts? How is Everton doing this season, and what makes them a surprise package this season? Mo, you can start first. Sorry.
Kira, since Kira has already talked, go ahead, Kira.
Ah,
Go ahead.
Okay. I would say that it's not a surprise really, because Everton has made a very great deal in getting Carlo Ancelotti as the coach, and furthermore, Ancelotti managed to get his favorite player on a very good deal. So yeah, it's not a surprise. In fact, actually, even if we do get JS, I will not say the name, just the initial. Even if we do get JS, I think what Everton has did for this transfer season in getting a good a world class coach and world class player is that has a very good combination, and that has a very good track record together, was the best deal of the season. And you know, Everton being Everton as the other Merseyside club, I really do wish them well. And you know, I won't mind if they win this season championship, so that at least they can rub it off on their neighbor, as much as we have done it with our own neighbor. Only then I think it will be much more special, because you know it's a very rare thing that we see Everton as a top club in Merseyside. As for Aston Villa itself, but this one I actually would like to ask both of you as well, whether did we miss the opportunity when we did not sign Jack Grealish?
I knew that was
So,
coming.
yeah.
I knew this question was coming.
Yep. Okay.
I think the way I see it, of course, Grealish was one of my first choice when it comes to transfer this during the recent transfer window. But because of his price and because of the alternative that we bring in, I think we did okay. I would of course prefer if we do get him, but getting Van der Beek for Grealish, I don't think there's too much in it, right? But of course, I know Grealish is a fantastic player. Maybe in the future might go back for him. But you have to see the overall value. Grealish for 80 million or Van der Beek for less than 40 million. I think that the answer is really simple, right? Van der Beek for 40 million.
Basically, we're talking about the TCOO, total cost of ownership. We just measure on the transfer value itself. So technically, we know the so-called surplus value for English players. So for Grealish, who basically drags the whole Villa team by himself last season and managed to get them stay in the Premier League.
Yep.
Well, that's kind of what we expect of a player who is a captain, who leads the teams in the championship promotion up until so. That's what is expected of him. But to get that certain number of transfer value after just one or two season, great season, I think still overpriced. We learned our lesson with Maguire previously. We learned our lesson with Sanchez, Di Maria. So let's just not drop into that. The United should be spending prudently onwards. Then again, those talents that we bring in may not be well known, but then again should be equivalent in terms of the what they bring on the pitch. What matters now is we need players who plays for the team, who plays for the badge on their chest. So
Oh,
that's for
I didn't
me,
aware of
that's
that.
the most important thing for a player to be in United's team currently.
Yep.
All right. On Everton itself, okay. Just talking about the teams that are generally favorable or likable in this current EPL standings. In terms of sustainability, would you think they will still be there come end of the season, or even do they have even the firepower to maintain where they are currently?
You know what? We said this is a crazy season, right? Everything is unpredictable. Yeah, I think all the fantasy managers are pulling the hair because how unpredictable the season has been so far. So I think it's quite early to make any judgment. I think we have to wait until at least 10 to 15 games, then we can see the overall trend, how teams will do. Like Everton and Villa, we mentioned the start season really well, especially Everton. But you know, it's easy when everything is going your way, and the interesting thing is to see if they have a loss of form, or they have bad luck, lose game. That's when you see the real team, you see the real character of the team. So let's see how Everton can sustain it when they hit a rock, when they hit a wall. Let's see if they can quickly recover. But Kira said, now in the Merseyside derby is really an interesting game right now. I think I'm looking forward to see the Merseyside derby right now. And I think because this season is a very tight season, it's a very short one because of the pandemic. Squad depth will be really important. Uh, Everton might have a really good starting 11, but I'm not really 100% sure about their depth. So like I said, we have to see once we played few games, 15 to 20, the suspension creeps in, the injuries creeps in, then we can see the actual output of each team. So I won't make any, if I were betting man, I won't make any bets yet now.
Yeah, interestingly, football is like any other game. You win some, you lose some. And Ancelotti is a very experienced coach. So, resource management is key. And when you know that if you're nearer to one target and the other, then it's time to let go of that target and focus on the main target. So, as much as Football Manager is a make believe, I think a certain aspect of the approach is the same, in which that the board will always ask the coach, what is your target this year, and how can you make it, how can you realize that target. So having said that, our own team, I don't see that communication going on, because as we can see, the board wants something else and Oli wants something else, and we are not driving. But in Everton, I think we are seeing that the board wants to win something, so they get Ancelotti in and they ask Ancelotti, if you want to win something, who you get? I want James, I want Rodriguez, and they got it. So I agree with Mo that going forward, they will just see out of all these cups that they are in, which one is the closest, and they will just try to get one, and that is good enough for a team like Everton. And of course, the cream of the crown of the cream is actually EPL. So if I was managing Everton with a lack of resource, and especially when I know my star player is going to be tired after some time, I would take that risk, saying that okay, fine. If I have like maybe 20, 15 or 10 more games sorry, 5 or 6 more games that I am able to win the EPL, but I also have upcoming cup games and whatnot, I'll drop those games. I'll just put in my second choices, and if they win it, then actually it's a plus point, because I know my second team can actually cover for my first team. But if they don't, it's okay. My main target is to win EPL because it's already close. So it depends on each one of the way that the coach is approaching the game. And at the moment, everything's enjoying the game. I think the striker is what was the name? Calvin.
But Louis.
Covered Lewin.
Calvin Lewin has got 2 hat tricks, right? Concurrently, in past games. So they are really enjoying their games, and it's still early. But you know, if they can show that they are enjoying their game, especially during the Merseyside derby, let's try to win it. I think they should have that belief that what Leicester did back in 2016, if I'm mistaken, when they said, you know, we are the top, we are at the top. Let's not think about what's going on at the bottom. We just try to win it, and they push for it and they won. So they should have that kind of mindset. In my opinion.
Yeah, I must say, we mentioned Merseyside Derby, the informed team against the Premier League champions, the current Premier League champions. So but it is a pity currently in the pandemic times, fans are not allowed in the stadium. So I just can imagine if this particular match, fans are allowed to come in, the whole Merseyside town will be in a celebration and a party mode whatsoever, because their stadium, for you guys, not been to UK yet. Liverpool and Everton Stadium is basically just across the road. So the atmosphere will be very fantastic. The Liverpool Stadium is behind somebody's kitchen, by the way, if you haven't seen it. So it's kind of funny. Right, moving on to our last point. Before that, our viewers who have been joining, thank you very much. We're going to have live for each segment afterwards for our upcoming games and whatnot. So if you get any comments, please drop in the comment box in our YouTube or even Facebook chat. We will see what's your comment, and perhaps if you have any other points that you would like us to bring up, please do so. We will take up in our next video. Alright, moving on. We'll talk about the Fantasy Premier League. Every season, every season of EPL when it started, it created the buzzes around the Fantasy Premier League managers around the world. Our team in Man United also was not left behind. We also have our internal league against our friends. Kira don't have a team, right? You better make one.
No,
Quick. Suck, man.
So, it's a very heavy roller coaster results so far. 3 games down the road, we do not see a pattern yet. Sometimes it's always a miss for us. So, Mo, how's your team doing?
My team's doing pretty averagely. Right? Like I said, with all the uncertainty, obviously most of my players are United players, so that's hence why my team sucks. Right? But there's one shining night in that team. One trend I think throughout the season, I think you can trust this player. I think looking at the way he plays, looking at the way his team plays, manager setup, I think you can trust this player to deliver points for you. It's James Rodriguez. I think he is a safe bet at the moment. I think he's the safest bet. If you want to talk about safe bet, right, in fantasy football, giving point, I think he might be a safe bet. Right? Even Liverpool, Liverpool defense might be really good. They just concede 7 in the game. So I don't know who picked Van Dijk and other Liverpool defense during that game. Must be hitting their head against the wall. So like I said, I want to talk about players that I think you should consider now. If you haven't had it, I think it should be James Rodriguez. Because even Kevin De Bruyne did not start the season quite well, right? He is in my team, and he's one of the players that I know gonna give you points, assists and goals. I think he will pick that up. So if you have him in your team, you should just maintain, right? But for now, I think my first pick has to be James.
Yeah. For me, my team also not doing that great, but then again, it's just in the middle. I actually followed someone's advice in the start of the season to buy the big ticket item. For you guys who have not had an any day one of Fantasy Premier League, basically the players have created an account and whereby provided with 100 million pounds for transfers to create a team of first 11 with 4 substitutes. So you guys need to manage the money given to purchase the players. So each players come with certain price tag. Usually the high profile players will come in the highest value. So in my team, initially when I created in the earlier season, my high ticket players were De Bruyne, Fernandes, and Rashford. Sadly, none of them have performed except for slight bit of Bruno Fernandes. So yeah, so like unlike Mo, Fernandes and Rashford are the only United players in my team, as I know our defense are shit. And in Fantasy Premier League, somehow our forward lines are categorized as midfielders. So Rashford in my midfield. So yeah, not many points there yet. For my team, as I see the trend, I did not have James yet, but I might put him in the team because the De Bruyne is identified as injured for the upcoming game. I do have Calvert-Lewin. It's the safest bet. He always start the game for Everton, and with current form, I believe he will supply goals endlessly for the time being. And the other forwards I have is Callum Wilson, Newcastle, and Jamie Vardy. So these are the people I put in. And as I mentioned earlier, it's a roller coaster season. We cannot predict which team gonna get a clean sheet, because clean sheet for defenders will have more points. Keepers as well. I bought keeper Schmeichel and Vicente Guaita. So one game they are having a clean sheet, then the other game they are going 3-0 down. So lucky me.
Yeah,
So,
I heard. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
You want to say something? I heard the fantasy football. I'm not sure which fantasy football is it, but I saw the ad. One of the prizes is actually a PS5. So yeah, I might get interested in that fantasy league.
One United doesn't have a competition currently, so don't wish for that. Disclaimer, yeah. Early disclaimer.
There's no
the
prize.
General one, yeah.
The price is only your pride and ego.
So we have come up to the end of our session. Any last word, Kira? So
yeah, I'm not sure whether this video is going to be watched by anyone of the Manchester United players, but I wish them the best and play well. For not only for us the fans, but for the club and for yourself.
right, Mo, take it away.
Yep, join me in my match preview and PES predictor tomorrow, live, same time. Yeah, you can watch me play PES there.
Okay, as for me, not a good time to be a United fan, but then again, with our previous EPL previous Sandarkan Pendekanangan FC have already won the cup after 30 years waiting. So as a United fan, we can't afford to wait for another time. So that time has come. Maybe our time is at the bottom currently. Still, we'll stick with United and hope for the best for our upcoming match. Alright, this is me, Zoro, signing off. For those of you who doesn't subscribe or share, subscribe or like yet, please do subscribe and like, leave your comments below, and we'll see you in the next video. Assalamualaikum.
Bye bye.